I am Sonali, your host for this session, and I'm delighted to guide you through the next 30 minutes of exploration into 6 pivotal aspects that will deepen your understanding of DevSecOps. Let's preview our agenda. We will commence by unraveling the fundamental concepts of DevSecOps. Moving forward, we will delve into the significance of security in DevOps and strategies for instilling a security mindset within development and operations teams. Next, we will transition into the best practices for implementing DevSecOps, delving into success stories from organizations that have seamlessly integrated security into their DevOps pipeline. Our panel consists of 3 distinguished experts, each ready to share valuable insights and engage in thoughtful discussions on these critical topics. We have already received insightful questions from our audience, and we encourage you to share any additional queries in the chat. Please note, for recording purposes, all attendees will remain on mute except for our panel members. To kick things off, let's hear a brief introduction from our speakers for today's session. Over to you, Karthik.
Thank you, Sonali. A warm welcome to everyone here. Myself, Karthik Vijay Kumar. I lead the Cloud and Infra Services practice at CCS Technologies for almost half a decade now. I carry 2 decades of experience in IT industry. My core expertise lies in IT infra domain. The focus currently lies with steering the cloud, DevOps, and IT managed services practice, and which also includes pre-sales, delivery, solution architecture, and customer management.
Hello everyone. Yeah, myself Arun G. Krishnan. I am the technical lead in cloud here at CCS Technologies. I possess over 12 years of experience in cloud and infrastructure platform. I'm specialized in AWS and Azure cloud platforms, focusing on cloud adoptions, transformation strategies, cloud security, migrations, and modernization, leveraging DevOps and DevSecOps practices. Welcome on.
Yeah, hello everyone. I am Praveen Paul, a DevOps engineer at CCS Technologies with 5 years of experience in implementing DevOps and DevSecOps pipelines. So my key focus is to build CI/CD pipelines by integrating DevOps and DevSecOps tool to build front-end, back-end, and mobile application. So for the last few years, I'm helping numerous clients to automate their deployments. I welcome you all to this wonderful webinar section.
Thank you, Praveen. Thank you, Arun. Just before we start the actual, insights for you, the team here. So I just set the quick context to give you a context on how do we take it forward. You may be a seasoned practitioner or you may be new to this concept. Let's quickly explore how the key differences about DevOps and DevSecOps, DevOps to DevSecOps are, and particularly DevOps, how it reshapes the landscape of the software development and security. In today's interconnected digital world, where threats to data security is, and privacy are ever evolving, organizations always have to adopt agile and secure practices throughout their entire software development lifecycle. So this particular webinar we designed will help you to dig into the crucial intersection, particularly of DevOps and the security part. So showcasing how the integration of security practices from the outset transforms traditional development processes into a resilient, secure, and compliant pipelines. So from identifying vulnerabilities early in the code base, which can ensure the integrity and compliance of deployed applications. We'll also uncover key strategies on the go and the tools. We have put some tools just for your understanding or to relate, and also some best practices which we as a company follow or which we help our customers to adhere to, which will drive the success of our DevSecOps initiatives. Stay with us to the entire session and let's discover how security in DevOps is not just a necessity here because you may think it's just a requirement. No, it's not. It's a strategic advantage you will have in the today's digital and threat landscape.
So DevOps is not a buzzword anymore. As we all know, DevOps is a collaboration of development and operations team that increases an organization's ability to deliver softwares and applications on a faster scale and at a rapid pace. This is achieved mostly by automation of tasks following a defined process. So unlike traditional SDLC methods, the improving and evolving the applications becomes much more faster. So this uh, makes sure that there is a faster time to market for the applications.
Yeah, right, Arun. So in DevOps, something is missing. So that means the main part, that is the security part. So it's all about adding security in between development and operation to bring a security culture. So it's when we talk about security, we will add security tools in between every stages of the software development lifecycle. So it's all about fostering a culture where security is not an afterthought, but an integral part of their entire SDC processes.
E- Yeah, Praveen. So let's delve into one of our recent projects where we implemented the DevSecOps practices, like uh, where we were able to figure out the code vulnerabilities in the early stages by incorporating SonarQube and delivering the products and make sure that like one more on the there's a containerized application. So there was more of in- vulnerabilities in the container aspects. So to figure out the issues, we make use of AWS ECR to get the container scanned, and we address the issues on a priority basis and fix all of the most high priorities and medium priorities vulnerabilities and make sure that the software is much more secure and less vulnerabilities. So this ensures that the application is uh, more compliant towards the customer requirement.
Yeah, absolutely right, Arun. So I remember when we implement DevSecOps to their pipelines, they were able to prioritize their security throughout the development lifecycle. So if any organization who are implementing DevSecOps can mitigate a risk, improve compliance, and ultimately they can deliver better software to the customers or to the outer market. Karthik.
Yeah, I think I still remember the screen of where the customer have to look at all those vulnerabilities, and they were in utter shock. And so they were thinking that even these are vulnerabilities, they were like looking at that way. And I think we have to go through a lot to fix that, I believe. Yeah. So that was, yeah, a quick thing example you picked up, case study. Yeah, thanks, Arun. And it illustrates how, integrating security into DevOps can yield a very significant positive outcome. The integration of automated security testing, using a tool like SonarQube into the DevOps pipeline, and also incorporating SonarQube's scans during the build and deployment stages. The dev teams can proactively identify and remediate security vulnerabilities in the code base early, so that helps them uh, very be secure early stages. Yeah, let's keep this in mind as we continue our discussion on the DevSecOps throughout this webinar to help the audience here understand it better with relevant examples and tools and whatnot, and highlighting the importance of the security seamlessly into every phase of the SDLC. Yeah. So moving on to the next part, what we have here is we have put through some thoughts about the core concepts of DevSecOps, and let's also look into the core concepts. We are exploring it. We have categorized into three pillars, namely people, process, and tools. So each of these pillars plays a crucial role in shaping a successful DevSecOps implementation. Understanding them in a bit more detail will also provide us with some valuable insights. You can relate to what is mapped to which areas and how do we can integrate that to the development and operation workflows and the security part processes. Let's begin our exploration, particularly examining each category in a bit more detail, but it's to start off with on the people part.
Yeah. Uh, People are the heart of the DevSecOps practices. When we talk about the people aspect of DevSecOps, we are highlighting the importance of the teamwork, collaboration, and shared responsibility mindset among the individuals. Here we emphasize on uh, making use of the individuals working in different skill sets, like there will be a operations team, development team, testing, security experts, and other stakeholders who are involved. So making sure that all of them are aligned and known about what is happening and working together as a single unit.
Yeah, right, Tarun. So, like people, process also play a crucial role in DevSecOps. So, this is all about implementing security checkpoints throughout the development lifecycle or software development lifecycle. So, this will help us to make code reviews, vulnerability assessment, infrastructure monitoring, continuous monitoring. So, these kinds of security need to be addressed in the process stages. So you can see several points in the process starting from shift left to continuous monitoring. So when we take shift left as an examples, we will implement security from the last stage of the pipeline, which is a deploy stage, to the starting of the DevOps pipeline, where the code stage. So implementing security from backwards, we can bring a security culture over there. So if any organization or anyone who implements security, they can deliver better products to the outer markets.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, absolutely, Praveen. So I think let's not forget about the another part which helps to achieve all these the tools part. So DevSecOps
Yeah,
relies on more on automation and tooling. So to integrate security, seamlessly into the development process, this includes tools for like code analysis, vulnerability scanning, configuration management, automation, continuous integration, continuous deployment, infrastructure as a code for the provisioning, configuration management. Yeah, everything helps to achieve using the tools. I think all these three put together, uh, will be the core pillars, where you can understand DevSecOps better and have this implemented to any organization. From either from scratch, or either you start in between, or you want to have it in silos, just in between you have to implement something, you can do that as well. Yeah. So that will also brings us to another question, Praveen. I think we should also give some quick insight with a small example, so that it will help the audience understand it better way.
yeah, right, correct. So one such example came to my mind was about Netflix. So you all know Netflix is an OTT platform having more than 200 millions of subscribers worldwide and streaming more than over 190 plus countries. So it all begins in 2008. That have a major outage. So what happened is the data center has some issues or has some corruption. So they were not able to ship their DVDs across their customers. So this led to Netflix to think, and they will convert their monolithic Java-based application data center application into a microservice cloud-based Java service application, and they were implemented there's a practice into their development life cycle. So they utilize automated security testing tools and have implemented a wide range of security culture among their development teams. So what happens is this proactive approach has enabled Netflix to innovative faster to market, leading to many business benefits. It also helped them to achieve near perfect app times, push new notification features faster to the users, and also increase their subscribers and streaming hours. So they were able to, when they adopt DevSecOps, they were able to deliver better products to their market and to their customers.
Yeah, I think I still remember Netflix recently have launched that they have disabled the password sharing also. I think for the users, that was another security thing which can we can highlight as well. Yeah, absolutely. This example underscores the proactive approach, particularly when it comes to DevSecOps, of identifying and mitigating security risks throughout the like SDLC. And by the seamless integration of security practices in each stage can not only enhance the security posture, it also can build trust with the users, prioritizing the protection of their assets and data. This approach fosters a culture of security awareness, responsibility across the entire organization internally as well. This will ultimately lead to a more resilient and secure software solution.
Thank you, Karthik. Before we move on, let's address a question we have received from our audience. So, can chaos engineering by Netflix be considered a security concept? What's your take on that?
Yeah. Okay. So while chaos engineering is traditionally associated with testing the system resilience and reliability, it does also have a security implication to it. Yeah. By it's more of the simulation. They by intentionally injecting failures and restrictions into their systems. Organizations like Netflix, what we spoke here, can uncover potential security weaknesses and vulnerabilities that ultimately enhancing their overall security posture as we speak. And so in a way that chaos engineering can indeed be viewed as a concept that aligns with the security objective, also within the broader framework of DevSecOps. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So before, I think we just covered the core concept of DevSecOps, and I think let's moving on to our next topic to explore the integration of security into DevOps, like integrating security into DevOps. Let's explore how we can integrate this. Security. As we say that security is not just a part; it's already inside of DevOps now. So we prepared a diagram, to illustrate the differences so that you can correlate between the normal DevOps, traditional CI/CD pipeline, and one enhanced with security measures. Understanding these distinctions, will also shed some light on the pivotal role of security in ensuring the integrity and resilience of the overall software delivery process.
Let's go through the typical DevOps pipeline where there will be a build stage, there will be a testing stage, release, deployment, monitoring, and feedback stage. So here we look closely. It's more focused on automating and making sure that there will be frequent releases. So, but what you see is that it's nowhere addressing the security in a detailed way, or it's not emphasized anywhere. So this leads to a question whether my application is secure, is it reliable? So what is your take on that, Praveen?
Yeah, right, Arun. So, right, we talked earlier. Security is missing DevOps. So, when we add security to DevOps, we will get DevSecOps. So, it's all about making some security in between development process and operations process. So, then we will get a pure DevSecOps culture. So, in the second flow, you can see several gaps in some areas. So, those were filled with some purple colors. So, those are the security areas or security checkpoints added to create a better DevSecOps pipeline. So in the second flow, you can see the first stage of the purple color with SCA. SCA stands for software composition analysis. So in this SCA, what it does is it will scan for the code and it will check for open source vulnerability, open source issues was there. So it will identify that and report to the development. So they can easily solve that issue and improve the performance of the application. So tools like Sneak will help you to identify those kinds of vulnerability. So what is the advantages is if we implement this kind of security tools into our DevSecOps pipeline, so you will able to avoid unexpected surprise in the deployment stages, Karthik.
Yeah. I think, following the SCA, we also have the SAST, that is the static application security testing. We can use tools like SonarQube, check marks, to analyze the code for potential security vulnerabilities, before it gets merged to the main branch or the master branch. Without the inclusion of SAST in our pipeline, we have a risk of incorporating third-party dependencies, with some known vulnerabilities, introducing code that could be susceptible to common security threats as well, like such as injection attacks, cross-site scripting. There are a lot more. Yeah, this could also lead to some severe consequences. Including data breaches, system compromises, and eventually it ends up reputational damage to the organization.
Moving further along the pipeline, we came across the another security checkpoint named dynamic application security testing. That's typically referred as task. In task case scenarios, we try to analyze the runtime behavior of the applications and try to figure out is there any potential vulnerabilities are there, whether that can be exploited or not. So typically, Dust is like a black box kind of testing. It doesn't require the access. We need the access to the codes. It can be like a hacker trying to attack the systems and trying to uh, figure out any potential vulnerabilities there and trying to exploit that. Something like cross-site scripting is there, or like SQL ingestion possibility is there. So exploring those kind of vulnerabilities that are non-CE vulnerabilities. So we are checking whether that can be that kind of vulnerabilities are present by making use of tools such as OAuth app or like Pursuit. It will help us to simulate that kind of attack patterns and identify those issues and mitigate it as early as possible. So what if that is not done, if the problem is going to that, we are moving the code to the production. So once the code goes to the production, it will create like potential possibility of data breaches, data corruption chances, and also uh, like misuse of the data. So it affects the financial, it can also create financial damages to the organization as well. To avoid such issues, we should make sure that dust is performed, and if some vulnerabilities are found, it shouldn't proceed with the further of the pipeline. Yeah.
Yeah, right, Arun. So moving forward along the pipeline, after the production, you can see two scans there. That is infrastructure vulnerability scan and compliance checks. So those are two important security checks that need to be conducted before we go into production deployment. For production is the last stages of our DevSecOps pipeline. So that's where the application runs. So before that, we need to scan the infrastructure. So first comes the infrastructure vulnerability scan. So this will scan and identify the potential weakness and weakness of the system and the network configurations. So in this scan will help to when we implement this scan, it will help you to make your infrastructure better in terms of security and compliances. So next comes the compliance scan. So compliance scan in a DevSecOps pipeline, it's a process of ensuring the software application and infrastructure adhere to some regulatory requirements, industry standards, industry internal security policies throughout the development life cycles. So this integrating this kind of compliance scan into the DevSecOps pipeline is crucial for identifying and addressing security compliances early in the development process. Using this kind of security scan, we can avoid unforeseen issues later in the software development lifecycle.
Yeah, correct. So I think we put in some technical jargons as well. I think to better make it more easier to the audience to understand on a wider perspective. So is there a possibility, like, there a real life case study where we can relate these areas, which is particularly we highlighted as security checkpoints, right? What if we have missed this? What if they missed it, and that they have implemented it? So can we relate one such example here? What do you say?
Yeah, Karthik. So one such example is that of Toyota. Is one of the pioneers who adopted the DevOps practices. So what happened is in the earlier 2012, they had to recall like around 10 millions of cars due to unintended acceleration problems in the Toyota vehicles. So this incident prompted to conduct scrutiny on Toyota's source code quality, leading to a reevaluation of the coding practices and testing procedures. To address all such issues, they implemented the DevSecOps approach in their software development lifecycle to enhance the development process of the connected vehicles, which is leveraging content mobility intelligence. So they, by integrating that like software composition analysis, SAS, DAS to their CCS pipeline, they were able to identify, address the security vulnerabilities earliest in the development process as well. So this ensures that the safety and security of their connected vehicle systems as well.
Yeah, absolutely right, Arun. This case study highlights the importance of integrating security into the development life cycle. So, especially in any industries or organization who are implementing security into their DevOps life cycle, they were where the security and reliability is high, they can implement security into their DevOps pipeline.
Yeah, yeah. So furthermore, I think there is another example which I would like to pick up is, there was a notable security breach which I came across about this Equifax data breach in 2017, where this sensitive personal information of millions was compromised due to a failure to patch and known vulnerability and the WannaCry ransomware attack, which exploited unpatched systems, disrupting the operations across numerous organizations worldwide. I think these industries, these particular incidents underscore the critical need for a robust security measure integrated into the development process itself. Yeah. So highlighting the paramount importance of security measures, throughout each phase of this development lifecycle is very essential. So, to help you with further details, particularly, um, let's quickly dive deeper. The how CCS can strengthen organization. That endeavors to embrace the DevSecOps practices. We have put through our approach, which we normally follow with every organization, where we implement our DevSecOps practices. So let's quickly look into that, and then we will also have some other details each area to that. So next we see this, as I say, the role of CCS in enhancing security particularly, and how we follow an approach for every organization which we help them. So let's quickly dive into that organization part. Like, we normally help with a phase-wise approach. Normally there are 4 phases, starting consisting of discovery, design, POC, and roadmap phases. With our methodical approach, we offer comprehensive support to implement the DevSecOps practices effectively. There are other initial exploration, strategy, development in the discovery phase, and also to the hands-on experience validation of concepts in the POC phase. We ensure a thorough understanding and smooth transition to DevSecOps, to the implementation part. Just before the implementation, we also have a roadmap phase, then which lays out a clear path forward, which is always tailored particularly to that organization's unique business objectives, sustainability, success part, and integrating security into their workflows.
At the forefront of our approach is the current state assessment and validation phase, where we collaborate closely with our customers to understand their infra better, their existing tools, processes, and based on that, our goal is to gain a more comprehensive understanding of our customers' current state altogether. Uh, so yeah, also we do a thorough collaboration with the customer and analyze and validate whether the identified informations were correct and the areas of improvements or the bottlenecks we found in their existing landscape and the optimizations that we are suggesting. So diving deep into these details with collaborating with them will give us more insights on what can be suited for their needs. So based on that, we will design like crafting a best path forward for their DevSecOps journey. This initial assessment also lays the like say the foundation for tailored strategies and targeted interventions, which is aimed to maximize the efficiency and effectiveness of their systems in partnership with our customer.
Yeah, right, Arun. So following the assessment, we work closely with your team to define a DevOps strategy and process. So we try to understand your existing infra and figure out the areas where improvement needed, and using those insights align with your development and operations and security goals. We will create a clear roadmap how you can implement DevSecOps practices, how you can bring security into our existing DevOps culture. So these all things will comes in the design phase where we approach the DevSecOps strategy and process definition?
Yeah, I think once we have the strategy and process definitions made, there is a tailor-made tools and recommendations made. Also, these recommendations align with the organization's, unique needs and objectives. Every organization will have their requirement changing based on their technology stack and their business workflows, the business model, budget considerations, infrastructure requirements. Maybe some customer want to have it on-prem, and some might have it cloud, and some might have hybrid. So all these considerations are made, and the tools are charted down that way. This personalized approach ensures the tools recommended are precisely tailored to optimize your process and drive maximum efficiency in line to your organizational goals.
So moving along, next is our standardized approach where we provide expertise in defining both application deployment architecture and infrastructure deployment architecture. Uh, this ensures that the applications and underlying infrastructure are meticulously designed, which focus on the security aspects, the scalability, the availability, the disaster recovery. All such details has been covered. So this makes sure that this lays a solid foundation for the end customer for starting a digital initiatives.
Yeah, right. So following application infrastructure and deployment, solution demo and strategy definition are our integral components of our unique approach. So in this approach, we give organization a preview of the solution before we implement those kind of things. So this help assess your readiness to adopt the solution and create a solid strategy for securely managing your workloads. So workloads can be service, container solution, or SaaS-based service. It can be anything. So by taking this proactive approach, we can identify and make any needed changes for the ensure a smooth transition to a desired environment.
Yeah, prior to the final part is prior entering into the implementation phase, we also have the DevSecOps best practices and KPIs. Once we have defined tools research recommendations, deployment architecture, we did a solution demo based on the strategies. So we also help with the DevSecOps best practices and KPIs in line to that particular definitions we have charted on. So that will help you to identify your technology roadmap and business objectives within in line. So this strategic alignment establishes, to effectively measure the success and impact of the DevSecOps initiative which you're going to implement, and after post implementation as well. By adhering to these best practices, you yourself, the organization can call them that they are DevSecOps adhered, and they have clearly say they have enhanced their security measures, achieved their desired business outcome efficiently and securely. So this is an approach which we follow normally with our customers, and I just want to also add a quick life cycle here to explain the audience with the tool names, and so that everyone can correlate of each phase, what are those tools and how they can relate to each area. So that now we are just particularly delving into the DevSecOps lifecycle. So you see that here in the screen. So DevSecOps phases map to type of security tools in each of the areas, starting from plan code up to operate and monitor stages. So here our journey begins with the planning stage, as you know, before anything we do plan. So we define plan of development process. In the planning stage, we gather requirements, set goals, prioritize features, tasks. So this is the foundational phase, and for the development journey, ensuring alignment with both business objectives and security considerations, particularly for the security areas. And here, there are areas like threat modeling, security use case for security. You also have prioritization, you have regulations, your policies. So these are a few other areas it can be covered. So for project management and all, we normally come up with Jira. There are other tools like Kanban, Azure boards, and all. Particularly, then security part can be covered with one such tool which I remember is Iris Risk, which highlighted here for threat modeling. That's provide a structured approach. Iris Risk also gives a visual representation, a dashboard view. It has customizable templates. It has automated analysis and provides a REST-based approach where you can implement the mitigation definitions within that tool. So that is addressed in the plan phase itself before going into the coding stage. Yeah.
Moving on the coding stage, the development team collaborates on writing the code, utilizing the version control systems like Git, where they manage the codes effectively, or collaboration with the other team members, which also engage their peers to for the code review process, which upholds the quality and coding standards put forward by the organization. So let's consider a few of the tools used in each of the stages of the coding stage, like say the ID tools and plugins they might be using. Some might be familiar with the Visual Studio Code, some might be more comfortable with Xcode. So that kind of tools will enhance the developer experience and making use of appropriate ID plugins that can facilitate as uh, a aid to write codes on a faster pace as well. So moving on, there is the GitLab, GitHub, and Bitbucket. Those are the SEM tools where that has the capability of a version control system, as well as it facilitates for like code reviews that which can be automated, and some of our senior resources can check along and accept whether accept or reject that code request, like the code review process. If this doesn't meet the coding standards defined by the organization, it will be rejected. And this makes sure that none of the codes that are meeting our requirements are pushed into the main branches. Also, next comes the lint checkers and formatters. This is the mostly like a pre-commit check. So based on the languages, the lint versions are lint checkers application names like ESLint will be most like Node.js application will be using the ESLint checker. So based on the tech stack you are using, the applications will vary. Also, this is the HashiCorp Vault and Secrets Manager, where the proper handling of the secrets, say it might be a database credentials or API security key, or say like any hardcoded role-based access or access controls like IAM roles and IAM keys, access and access keys. So all such details can be saved in the HashiCorp Vault or System Manager. This as an added advantage that it can be automated to rotate the keys based on the integrations available with them.
Yeah, all right, Arun. So before we going forward to other stages, I would like to ask a question here, Arun. So
Yep.
nowadays everyone is searching for AI tools to make their work easier. So is that possible to use any kind of AI tools in any of the DevSecOps phases?
Yeah, let's start with the coding phase itself, where say we can leverage the IDE plugins like say Tabden or Code Whisperers to write codes. So this supports like make sure that the code is like code has the security standards. Say Code Whisperer facilitate you with that kind of details. So it writes the codes that is more secure compared to other applications. So, and one more advantage is like it can also helps us in writing the Docker files or say ISA codes or YAML files. Like based on the prompt engineering we are giving, that it will gives you a full-fledged feature or like a full-fledged function. So, but just make sure that we just tested it thoroughly, because or for some cases there is an existing application you are trying to integrate a AI tool into that. So the suggestions will be based on what is there. So if there is the existing code is having vulnerabilities, the future suggestions will also might have the potential cases of vulnerable codes. So just make sure that it's completely secure, and making use of the new tools will help us in mitigate the issues early as possible.
Yeah, right, Arun. Yeah, thanks. So those are some insightful points. So after the code stage, we will move to the build and test stage. So once the coding is completed, we will start to build the application. So here comes the continuous integration and continuous deployment tools. So all know the continuous integration and continuous deployment. So Jenkins is such tools which is popular in the market. So with the help of that tools, we will build the code and make a secure artifact for the later deployment. So this kind of things will happen in the build stages. So we will incorporate all the security tools like SEA, SAS. So those kind of tools we will integrate in the build stage, and using the feedback and response of that tools, we will build the application and pass to the next stages. So like build, testing is another important stage in the DevSecOps pipeline. So before and after we build the application, we need to do some checks there. So with the help of automated testing tools like Selenium, JMeter, Jismas. So using those kind of tool, we will entirely check the application, how the application can perform. Is there any vulnerabilities or any packages issues are there? So those kind of things we will check in the build and test stages. So if we take SES example, there are several tools that will help to uh, do this task or task automation in the build stage. Sneak, Veracode, those kind of tool will help to do this in the SCA testing. And when we take a fast static application and application security testing, SonarCube and Checksmart will help you to automate those kind of things. So we will incorporate all those things in the build stages of the DevSecOps pipeline.
Yeah, I think following that, we have the next important phase of our software lifecycle. I think the release and deploy, where you get it, taking it more to the live environment. Making that once we have this code rigorously built and thoroughly tested, we transition to the release stage. This encompassing environments like development, they have deployment stage, and where the implementation of continuous integration and deployment practices happen. Facilitated, like tools like Jenkins, GitLab CI/CD, that ensures your swift and dependable deployment. These practices, not only enhance agility, but also ensure seamless delivery of software updates. For instances, like as we spoke the earlier example, like Netflix have employed continuous deployment to swiftly introduce new features and updates to their streaming platforms. And one more example is Amazon utilizes their AWS code pipeline and code deploy tool to streamline the delivery of the updates to all of their array of services, enabling their rapid innovation always happening while ensuring a seamless customer experience. For the tools, particularly for the security, container security, we recommend, not recommend, yeah, there are tools like Anchor Analyze and Claire this will do the check of the securities, container security. And for the DAST, we have OWASP app, we have Invisity for dynamic testing. Particularly on the compliance part, we can use Chef Inspect. There is a tool called and Terraform for the provisioning and all. And also Chef Inspect particularly integrates seamlessly with the tools like Chef, Puppet, and Ansible, which will help you continuously monitor your deployments before you get into the operating part. Once that's the live part, yeah.
Yeah, Karthik. So once the application is deployed, we will enter into the operating stages where we have to continuously monitor the application. There might be chances of we have to prepare for the incident responses and make sure that the application is performing up to the mark. So all such details we have to capture and make sure that the application is working as expected. So there is to make this application work seamlessly, we have to first integrate that the first line of defense should be there. So we will be leveraging web application firewall. Say it will act as a protective mechanism against the non-vulnerabilities and see more like web OAuth threats. So it protects the web applications, and we also it facilitates as a DDoS mechanism to a media kind of level of protection against the app DDoS attacks. So we have to analyze these logs generated by the web applications and integrating with our SAN tool to make sure that we are getting a predictive analysis or the attack patterns or anomaly detections will be to get by the SAN tools. Leveraging that, we can make sure that the application is resilient and it's can scale based on the loads that is coming to the applications. So this is a continuous process where Sometimes we have to scale up the applications, or we make sure that its performance is optimal. Some days we need to make changes, like there will be change requests coming based on the purpose. Then add some additions. We have to increase the spec of the application or the service, or the managing the patching of the production service. All such activities are performed in the operation stage. So some SIME tool that can be used for the automate, like security incident management, as Splunk Enterprise Security and also Tenable Nexus can also be leveraged for that purpose. So moving forward, we need a complete end-to-end monitoring activity as well to get more insights on the health and availability of the applications.
Yeah, right, Arun. Yeah, right, Arun, absolutely. So once we deployed our applications, we need to continuously monitor those applications. So how the user is experiencing that application, how the behavior of that application. So instant feedbacks need to be collected, and that need to be marked and shared with the teams to improve more on their application performance. So application performance monitoring and application logging and reporting are two important aspect in the monitoring phase. So there are several tools to automate or monitor the performance of the application. Datadog, APM, Dynatrace. Those are some kinds of tools that will help you to monitor the performance of the application. So apart from the application performance monitoring, logging and reporting is also an important factor in the monitoring phase. So once the application is deployed to any infrastructure or servers, so those logs need to be collected and needs to be shared with the development team, how the application is behaving, is any incidents or console log was there. So these kinds of thing is happening or taking using some kind of tool like Prometheus, SABI, CLK. So this will share the logs or view those logs in their GUI, and developers can easily trace that logs and do regular improvements on their deployment or development. So like this is a continuous process, or we can say it as a infinite loop. Once the application is going to production state or deployment stage, this is again made improvements on that product. So it's like a infinite loop, Karthik.
Yeah, that brings us the symbol of DevOps, the infinite loop. Yeah. So thanks, Praveen. Yeah. So the DevOps and so DevSecOps, both everything. So encapsulate the transformative shifts, particularly in software development and security areas. So this the embracing the automation, fostering a culture of continuous improvement, adopting a proactive stance towards security. That does not only define your redefine or your approach to software delivery, but also it helps you to fortify your defenses against emerging threats. And then and there you fix that. And so as we embark the journey to monitor and enhance security, using cutting edge tools, we also remain steadfast in our commitment, particularly to the system resilience, security, and other process areas which we have. So through vigilant monitoring and strategic utilization of security tools, I think we can reinforce a secure software solution, ensuring they withstand the challenges in the today's threat landscape again. So together, we can this the path forward is always having security ingrained in every aspect of the development process, safeguarding the data, assets, reputations. So all these areas are covered, particularly with security as well. Yeah.
Thank you, Karthik. We'll move on to some of the testimonials that we have received from our clients. So we are dedicated to demonstrating the practical advantages of adopting DevSecOps. Here are a few successful stories from organizations that have successfully incorporated these practices into their application development process. These highlights the real-world benefits of embracing DevSecOps methods, and I hope their experiences can help you gain valuable insights into how our approach positively affects development and security workflows.
Yeah, I think there are these testimonials which I think you're looking at. This is for one of our customer. They are working closely with leading bankings in India. They are into supply chain finance, both put together as a tech startup, and they have successfully launched it with leading banks, even the private banks and the public banks. So we are their partner for a long time, and they've been managing their infrastructure and the DevOps. And we keep them, having the security part also taken. Yeah, looking at the other testimonial, this is one of our milestone project, which I could say I think I have the success stories coming up, particularly on that as well. So this is for a client Mauritius, which we have implemented DevSecOps. Sonali, I think we can move to the
Yeah, we'll move on to
success story.
our success
Success.
stories now. Yes.
Yeah, so as I was speaking about the testimonial before, so this is for the DevSecOps implementation for a Mauritian bank, which we uh, did recently. And I'll just quickly give some ideas of this. So about the client is a full service commercial bank based out of Mauritius. They serve various banking segments, say retail, corporate, private, and international. They rely on Temenos Infinity, a digital platform, a leader in banking platform, digital platform, to process their web and mobile banking customer interactions, the daily transactions, and integrate with the financial core banking. Their need was particularly they were having an out-of-box CI/CD by Terminus Infinity, but they had challenges to integrate with the complete development lifecycle because they had teams working out of different geographies. They had challenges in again cost part as well, and also they had challenges in having it on their cloud because as a bank they were followed to use the on-premise data center which they have to implement. So here we did execute the DevSecOps implementation phase-wise approach, starting with the discovery. Next, we did a POC phase, completely set it up on the cloud just to showcase how the overall pipeline which will work for them, integration with the Temenos Fabric, how it's going to help them particularly. And we provided the source code management followed by a GitLab branching strategy. We conducted a security testing using tools like Git secret search, ESLint, OWASP, dependency checks, stale alert checks also. Additionally, we ensured a code quality check with SonarQube. We performed web performance testings using Akini Scanner. We built and published the backend Java application, front-end web application, and they also had iOS and Android versions for the mobile banking using Kony Visualizer CLI and Node. This we ensured the compatibility and security was always through that. The implementation, of this DevSecOps brought a lot of business benefits for them. Particularly, they were doing a release cycle 3 months once because of the no automations and future apps. There were no integrations was not that familiar or seamless. So our apps adhere to the defined DevSecOps their apps defined to the DevSecOps practices during the design phase. And next, we enhanced the security posture and compliance. We also did accelerated the release cycles by approximately 30% during after the implementation. I think it is more than that now. Earlier, I said it was 3 months. I think they're doing it. They were start moved to a 2 weeks release cycle, and now they are doing a weekly. But I think they are also kept to do it daily. There are business reasons. I think they're doing it weekly basis, and we are supporting them on that as. So the other benefit is we can call out as the reduced defect leakage. I think it is almost zero to now. And they also have improved code coverage to the tools implemented. Let's move on to the next another case study which we want to also showcase. So this is DevSecOps implementation for a Norwegian firm. Here our approach is like more of it's not from the scratch. It is more of getting in between to a customer who are already having a digital solution with them. So about the client, they are specializing in digital business systems and consulting services. They deliver scalable digital and cloud-based office collaboration products based on O365 and Azure stack. What we did here is CCS conducted a comprehensive gap analysis because we are a partner with them for more than a decade now. So they want to have a robust DevSecOps process using industry best tools. So our gap analysis, what we provided is identify the business priorities. Then we recommended Azure DevOps as an ideal solution for their needs, as they had Azure, the overall stack running on Azure. So we utilized Azure boards to plan work items, tasks, backlogs, following agile processes. Additionally, we also configured cloud-hosted private Git repos for them to facilitate collaboration and improve code quality. We also had used Azure repos as well, but Git repos both work together because there are other customers for them as well. Azure pipelines were set up to automate the build and deployment process. And they also had function apps, logic apps, and SPF solutions using a CI/CD approach. Azure test plans were also employed to enhance the code quality through plant and exploratory testing services. Finally, we also had Azure Wiki for a centralized repository for them for the documentation accessible for all the users. So this implementation brought a lot of business benefits to our client. They are have all control consolidated in one portal, all the controls. So they have dashboards. They look at it, ensuring easy access to status updates. The task management is well controlled and efficient. The code repositories are organized for a seamless collaboration. With CI/CD pipelines in place, the deployments are now seamless, and they are also doing weekly, twice releases. And our team is part of the development team. And the availability of explanatory reports and dashboards also help there to further optimize their operations then and there. So the services we use here is Azure repos, Azure pipelines, Azure artifacts, Azure boards, test plans, logic apps. So this case study also explains how our tailored approach to DevOps adoption can yield significant improvements to an organization and the code quality. And that's how we have implemented that. So that's Norwegian form. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That concludes our webinar. We'll provide the recording for your reference, and you can also reach out to our panel members directly using their contact information. It will be shared with you in the chat shortly. Now I'll open the floor to questions. So we have received a few questions. I'll just, would you be able to read that, Karthik, or should I just read it to you? So one of the questions which we have received is, with traditional SDLC processes, there are more straightforward controls on segregation of duties, considering the shift left process, some processes being done by the apps dev team. What common governance practices are in place to address possible SOD conflicts?
Yeah. So okay. So that this has to be looked in a different approach. Like, see, traditional SDLC processes, they have straightforward controls. I understand, but when it comes to shift-led processes, right? So you put processes each stage, right? So you have particular stages. You put the governance practices at each stages of the pipeline. So that is placed to address all those conflicts everywhere, and that also enhances your security posture completely. So when it comes to a traditional SDLC process, I think the agile part takes a back seat, and there is no agility, agile processes in place. So I think shift-led process with the agile and the tools help you to achieve a better security posture and also more of a seamless delivery.
Thank you. Thank you. Karthik. Another question is regarding the current state assessment. If we intend to perform our own CSA, there are available public frameworks that we can refer to, and when do the CSA for DevOps, and when we do the CSA for DevOps, DevSecOps. Sorry, yeah. Anyone can take Praveen or Karthik.
Yeah, so I'll take that. So this is particularly, yeah, there are available public frameworks for current state assessment, but I'm sure that you can define your parameters respect to each and every categories, and then particularly when it comes to the business goals. The mapping to business goals is a key aspect here, and your current what the technology stack you run, what's the security postures you already have or you want to have. Uh, there are, I think, the public available frameworks might not address all the aspects of it, and some key business aspects to be considered, your organizational goal and your business needs. For example, a tech firm might have a different way of delivering their online videos, streaming videos to the subscribers or users or the students. Every company will have a different approach to it, but when it comes to a particular organization, how they want to do it differs, right? So that's how our current state assessment helps organization to map each and every phase particularly, and then that process from there, baselining that and moving on to the next level will help them to have a more better approach. I would prefer, yeah.
Thank you. I hope that answers your question. So another question we have received, Arun already replied to that, but we'll take that nevertheless. We'll have to use infrastructure vulnerability scan in all the environments, test UAT, staging and production. Is that right? That's the question. Will we have to use the vulnerability scan in all environments?
Yeah, typically it should
Infrastructure,
be
yeah.
addressed. Yeah, exactly. It should be addressed in all stages. But typically what happens is that to save the time, because the run takes lots of time, and typically only the UAT will be, or the staging will be exposed to the public. So that's why most of the people will use it in the UAT stages for the scanning use.
Right.
So
Thank
ideally it
you.
should
Yeah, I would
be.
like to add some. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Praveen, go ahead.
So I would like to add some more points to that. So typically, this UAT and staging environment will be smaller than the production environment. So we will more focus on the production environment when we considered security and all. So that's why we were uh, conduct this kind of test more on the production kind of deployment or
Yeah, I
production
think we
setup.
can. Yeah, the business sometimes requirements. There are companies, organization use that pre-prod kind of a setup. They
Yeah,
also have, they have a same production setup, a similar setup, and just they try do the testing on all those infra vulnerability scans and just use the same kind of setup in the actual production. So that helps them to keep it more safer.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, team. And what tool name was used for threat molding? That's a question we have received from Musale Al Bahari.
Should be threat modeling, I believe so. And
Threat modeling,
we
right? Yeah, I think it's
yeah,
written
yeah.
mold. Threat modeling, right?
Yeah, correct. So it is, we recommend, yeah, so one of the major or a good tool which we normally use is the IDS risk, as I said, and it has a lot of features built to it. Like you have the defined, you can define the risk in templated models. You have dashboards, you have views, largest representation of the diagrams of the risks where you define the plan page. So that will help you to define the threats, and that modeling will help you to identify what happens when you define a particular modeling threat, and what happens as a result of this threat. So how do you mitigate that? So that plan is also defined there. So each and that visual representations help you. Okay, this is the threat. This is what is my mitigation plan. This is what is going to be the end result, and how do I fix it? And you implement that. So I think Iris Risk is a good tool, which everyone can adopt.
Thank you so much, Karthik. Another question is, how can I identify my organization's maturity level of DevOps, and what is the first step to take forward?
Yeah, it is again assessing the maturity level of every organization's DevOps practices, right? So it is crucial to identify areas of improvement, charting a way path forward. The first step always involves conducting a comprehensive assessment, as I said, like this assessment part, current state assessment part, we also do. So current processes, tools, culture, that determines where you stand on the DevOps maturity scale. From there, we can once the baselining is there, we can define actionable steps each and every part, and then enhance the DevSecOps capabilities to drive the business value in line to the business value.
Okay, thank you. So just two more questions. We'll just quickly take them up. As an FMCG company specializing in the production of milk-based products, our operations involve engagement with vendors, distributors, and direct online customers. So in what ways can the implementation of DevOps practice enhance the overall user experience of our customers? That's the question.
Yeah, I think I'll take that. So yeah, so here I can correlate with 2 or 3 areas which I can remember. I think particularly when it comes to DevSecOps or DevOps, it is always the faster delivery of updates. In FMCG, I believe customers can enjoy new features sooner. Particularly, their user experiences keeps always changing, and you have to adapt to that new trends and sooner and defined end-to-end DevSecOps process and automated process for that actually. So next one, I would also say product quality, automation and continuous testing keeps your product quality better, ensuring it's ready for any platform. People might use web, people might use mobile, people and different phases of accessing that. That way, you always keep a tab on enhancing or maintaining the product quality always by continuous testing it using automations and scripts and all. I think when it comes to FMCG, again, there are personalized customer interactions with, I think there are bots, there are chat supports, there are other particular, specific target customers, geo-based customers, or premium customers, you would say, for subscribe users and all. Using those continuous testing, those rollout that can be rolled out personalized features for them. So that will again a tailored approach for them. For a specific set of customers that can also be achieved by DevSecOps using several tools actually. And finally, I would say security is another aspect here because FMCG sector also has always there's a competitor coming in place and compliances. The user data is always a threat. So protecting the customer data and regulatory compliances is very important, I would say.
Thank you, Karthik. One last question we have received is in the realm of insurance, does the adoption of DevSecOps guarantee data safety within BFSI organization, and when should an organization recognize the need to implement DevOps?
Yeah. So here, it is more of how do we organization recognize when or what is the need to implement DevOps. I would say, they might have uh, addressing they have to address evolving needs on time, right? So the needs always changes, and they might be lacking behind. So they can easily identify uh, that as a key signal for them to implement DevOps for them or DevSecOps for them. And I think manual overheads, I would say also, because automation is always helps handy, right? So you don't have to monitor, you don't have to deploy manually everything. So you automate everything. So when you feel that you are having do a lot of manual works, I think that's also a signal where you have to do uh, uh, implement DevSecOps. And the other aspects like lack of collaboration between teams, you can put in tools to place to address those needs. I think another part is the failures when customers have a lot of failures in their application deployments. So they might not have a rollback plan, or they might not have a immediate way to address those failures or user errors. So I think these areas can be covered using a pace-wise approach using our DevSecOps tools and all. So that way they can address the failures earlier, or even they can make sure that the failure is addressed even before it gets into live, right? So that way, that is also signal. I think if they are getting more of negative feedbacks from the users, they can immediately switch to a DevSecOps approach here.
Thank you. Thank you all. That wraps our session for the day. Thank you for attending, and I wish you all a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thanks.